Hello, welcome to Diaries of Miss Yellow. My name is Fee, aka Miss Yellow. If this is your first time on my channel, you're welcome. I hope you stay and I hope you subscribe and you enjoy the content on this channel. Today's video was totally unplanned, but I listened to something today and I thought to share it with my YouTube family, so that's what we're going to do. Hopefully the video is not too long if I don't keep rambling on. So I listen to a podcast every morning called The Daily Code. It's usually about 2 minutes long and it's just a quote from anybody, and they just encourage you using that quote. Today's quote was from an American basketball coach called John Wooden, and the quote said, "Talent is God-given. Be humble. Fame is man-given. Be grateful. Conceit is self-given. Be careful." And I'm just going to define the 3 things that he mentioned here. Talent is a natural skill or gift that you have, and it's given to you by God. It's not by anybody else, because it was in you from the time you were born, and the person who formed you and put you into this world was God. So the talent that you have comes from God, and it's usually, for me, I define it as anything that you find easy, to anything that comes easy, that comes to you more easily than others. Fame is the state of being known or talked about by people, especially for good things that you've done. I mean, you can be famous for bad things, but we're talking about good fame now, and it's usually when you've done something, people either recommend you to other people, acknowledge the talent that you have, or something significant that you've done, and things like that bring about fame. And conceit is excessive pride. So being proud and just glorying in your own abilities. And it's interesting that a synonym that I found to conceit was self-love. And it was actually very interesting because everybody today is all about self-love. Everywhere they're talking about self-love. And we actually need to be careful, because it gets to a point where it becomes excessive and turns into arrogance and egotism. So we actually need to be careful how far we take self-love to. It's good to love yourself for sure, but it gets to a point where it just becomes plain pride, and you need to be careful about that. These 3 things John Wooden talked about are things we encounter every day, and in the podcast he mentioned talent and fame are something to appreciate. You have to appreciate the talent that you have, because not everybody has that talent. If everybody had it, then it wouldn't be a talent. You have to appreciate it, because sometimes if you don't make good use of it, it can actually be taken away from you. An example is in the Bible, the parable of the talents, where the guy went and hid the talent that he was given. He kept it, and the master came and took it from him and gave it to someone else who had made good use of their own and had multiplied it. So it can be taken away from you if you don't use it properly, or if you're not using it at all. You need to appreciate it. You need to work hard and make good use of it. And like I said, we're talking about good fame. If, for example, you're a creative and maybe you do gigs and you're referred to a gig, and from there you get more referrals, you can actually become famous through a medium like that. But the thing to be mindful about with this talent and fame is not to be proud about it, because that is a mistake. The podcast said it, that pride is a mistake, and I agree, it's a huge mistake. And like John Wooden said as well, the talent is God-given, so you can't control the talent that you have. The fame, you can't necessarily control fame as well, because if people want to recognize you, they will recognize you. If people want to talk about you, they will talk about you. You can't really control it and try to hide. If your light is shining, trust me, if your light is shining, there's no point to hide, and there's even no way you can hide, because you're a light. You can't be put under a table. So yes, if you are doing something good and impacting the world positively, you would be famous for it, and it's not really something you can control. But the one thing you can control is conceit, pride, and we need to be very careful, myself included. You need to be careful not to misuse, not to be too proud. It can cause, like I said, arrogance, and you just start to misuse the fame that you have. You start to misuse the talent that you have. Like I said, if I'm not careful, I'll keep rambling on. So I'll end the video there. It was just a reminder. I'm sure it's something that a lot of people already know about. yeah. If you want me to do a video on the podcasts I listen to, I actually have a lot of podcasts I listen to, but this particular one, the daily quote, I listen to every day. If you want me to do a video on the other podcasts I listen to, just let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to share them with you. Don't forget that you are loved, you are doing amazing, and you were born to be great. I will see you again in another video very, very soon. Bye.